All right, thank you guys. Happy Monday to you. Hopefully you had a great weekend. Now, there's a couple of games we have here today on a Monday, which I think we can cash in on. Couple pretty good games here. Now, if you really end up enjoying this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up by smashing that like button. And if you're new here and you haven't already hit that subscribe button, please feel free to do that right now as well. I'd greatly appreciate it. And for those who don't already know, my name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. And with that said, guys, we got ourselves a very substantive slate of Monday action here in the NBA, so let's go ahead and begin. We're going to start with the Hornets squaring off against the Miami Heat, 7:30 p.m. Eastern start time in Miami. The Heat's minus 5.5, totals 218 flat. And if you like the Hornets to win this one outright on the road here, they're plus $1.60 on the money line. Now, did you know that we've won our last 3 straight daily best plays on Patreon? That's right. And if you want to access today's daily best play, it's only going to cost you just $1.99 when you click the link in the description section below. Now, were you also aware that our board member tier package on Patreon gives you access to every single pick that I give on that site as well? Well, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the board member package in just a few moments. But for now, if you want to find out what our daily best play is today for just $1.99, once again, link for that pick is in the description section below. And the website is patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, Charlotte's on a 2-game winning streak. Victories over Milwaukee and Indiana during that stretch. Very good teams. They're also in the top 10 defensively in points allowed, and they find themselves covering 60% of their road games. Gordon Hayward scoring over 23 points a game, 5 rebounds and 4 assists for the starting forward. Meanwhile, Devontae Graham is scoring 14 points a night himself, along with 3 rebounds and 6 assists. Now they're taking on a Miami team who lost 5 out of their last 6, and they also find themselves just 2-8 against the spread in their last 10. The Heat's dead last in the association in offensive rebounding, bottom 10 in defending the 3-ball. Now, Silva, Leonard, and Harkless are out. Iguodala, Vincent, Bradley, Dragic, and Hero are questionable. When it comes to the total in this one, Miami's 5-1 at the over in their last 6 against the Southeast Division. Charlotte's 6-2 to the over in their last 8. I'm going to lean toward the underdog Charlotte Hornets plus 5.5 and the over 218. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the video. Got some lines and personal leans out for Monday's NBA basketball action. Once again, happy Monday to you. Hopefully you guys had an outstanding weekend. I know my weekend was pretty good. It was pretty chill. But anyway, guys, before we go ahead and dive into some more free content, I just have to quickly remind you once again that we've won our last 3 straight daily best plays on patreon.com/BrockPage. And if you want to unlock today's daily best play, it's just $1.99 when you click the link in the description section below. Now, were you also aware that our board member tier gives you access to every single pick I give on that site? And just remember, guys, when you sign up for a membership on Patreon, you get access to all the lesser expensive memberships absolutely free. Patreon will bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So for today, it's the 1st of February, you are getting absolute max value if you sign up today for the month of February. And I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of the show. Now, for those who are wondering what the difference is between my free picks here on YouTube and my Patreon site, well, what I do on Patreon is I make life a lot easier for you as I break down the daily card and focus in on just 4 to 5 premium selections per day. They're my personal plays, games that I personally have action on. And I'll tell you this much, I'm having a lot more success betting on games that way in smaller sample sizes versus wagering on every single game on the slate, side and total like I do here with my free leans on YouTube. Basically, I give you a bunch of different free leans here on YouTube over the course of 2 or 3 videos. And on Patreon, you find out which one of those games I actually have my action on. Now, if you want to join our paid Patreon members and get in on the action yourself. Link for that website is in the description section below. Once again, the site is patreon.com/BrockPage. Hey guys, we got to move. Next matchup, Lakers, Hawks, 7:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off in Atlanta. The Lakers are the 5.5-point favorite on the road. Totals 220. LA's 11-2 straight up on the road this season, first in the NBA in road points allowed. The Lakers are giving up just 100 points a night when they travel, and they're also in the top 5 in road defensive rebounding. LeBron James is scoring over 25 points a night, along with 8 rebounds and 8 assists. Meanwhile, Anthony Davis is scoring nearly 23 a game himself, along with 9 rebounds and 3 assists as well. They're taking on an Atlanta squad who's in the bottom 5 in home offensive rebounding. The Hawks are also in the bottom 10 in fourth quarter points allowed. Now, total-wise, Atlanta's 70% to the under in their last 10, 14-5 to the under for the entire season. Meanwhile, the Lakers are officially 11-2 to the under when they travel themselves. I'm going to lean toward the LA Lakers minus 5.5 and the under 220. Next contest, it is going to be Timberwolves versus the Cavs, and that's going to be an 8 p.m. Eastern start time. The Cleveland Cavaliers are minus 5 with the total at 217.5. Now, Cleveland's covering 70% of their games at home. They're in the top 5 in the NBA in home defensive rebounding. Colin Sexton is scoring 24 points a game along with 3 rebounds and 4 assists. Meanwhile, Andre Drummond's bringing down 15 rebounds a night along with 19 points and a couple of steals. The Cavs allowed just 108 points per contest. They're taking on a Minnesota team who's lost 7 out of their last 9. And they still have Towns and Culver on the injury report. Now, the T-Wolves are last in offensive field goal percentage on the road. They're also last in points allowed on the road defensively. Minnesota's opponents are knocking down 41% of their three-pointers against them when they travel. The T-Wolves are also allowing 123 points a game away from home. Now, total-wise, 3 out of Minnesota's last 5 got over the line. They're also 5-1 of the over in their last 6 in Cleveland. Now, the Cavaliers on the other side saw 6 out of their last 8 get over the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Cleveland Cavaliers minus 5 and the over 217.5. All right, next contest, it is going to be Blazers versus the Bucks, 8 p.m. Eastern tip-off. The Milwaukee Bucks are minus 10, numbers 233.5. Now, the Bucks are on a 2-game losing streak, just 2-6 against the spread in their last 8. Giannis Antetokounmpo is questionable with a knee. Milwaukee's dead last in the association in free throw percentage at home, and they also find themselves allowing 113 points a game. Now, they're taking on a Portland squad who successfully covered the number in their last 2 straight themselves. And despite the absence of C.J. McCollum, we're still looking at a Portland squad who's covering 75% of their games away from home. Damian Lillard scoring 30 points a game along with 5 rebounds, 7 assists. Meanwhile, Gary Trent Jr. scoring 13 a game himself along with a couple of rebounds. Now, total-wise, Portland still has their second leading scorer in C.J. McCollum out for a significant period of time. The Blazers are also 8-2 to the under in their last 10 against the Central Division. So if you're into historical trends, certainly think about that if you're looking to fire on the over there. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, the Bucks, once again, they might have to go to work without Giannis, or at least, maybe even see him in a limited role if he's banged up. The Bucks are also 60% to the under in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward the Portland Trailblazers plus 10 and the under 233.5. All right, next contest, it is going to be Rockets versus the Thunder. 8 p.m. Eastern tip-off at the Chesapeake. The Houston Rockets are minus 4.5 away from home. Totals 224, juice to the under. Now, the Rockets are red hot right now. Little 5-game winning streak, 4-1 against the spread in those victories. Houston's in the top 10 in road scoring, top 5 in defending the 3-ball. Christian Wood scoring 24 points a game along with 11 rebounds and 2 blocks. Meanwhile, Victor Oladipo is getting 22 points a game with his new teammates, 5 rebounds and 5 assists for the former Pacer. They're taking on an OKC squad who's lost 6 out of their last 9 themselves, and they also find themselves a dismal 1-6 straight up on their home court. Now, OKC failed to cover the point spread in 5 out of those 7 home games as well. Thunder's dead last in defensive rebounding, dead last in defensive field goal percentage at home. The Thunder's also letting their opponents make 50% of their field goals at the Chesapeake Energy Arena. And when it comes to the total in this one, 6 out of OKC's last 8 ball games got over the number, 71% to the over on their home court. Meanwhile, the Rockets are 5-4 to the over when they travel themselves. Give me the Houston Rockets -4.5 and the over 224. Next contest, it is going to be Knicks versus the Bulls. 8 p.m. Eastern start time in Chicago. Now the Bulls are -4, totals 218 flat. And if you like the Knicks in an upset on the road here, they're +155 on the money line. New York's 5-3 against the number in their last 8. Top 3 in the NBA in road offensive rebounding. But really, when it comes to this Knicks team, it's really all about the defense in New York this season. They're the league leaders in points allowed and defensive field goal percentage. The Knicks are giving up just 102 points a game, and they're also holding their opponents to just 30% shooting from beyond the arc as well. Julius Randle scoring nearly 23 points a game for New York, 11 rebounds and 6 assists for the power forward. Meanwhile, RJ Barrett scoring 18 points a game himself, along with 7 boards and 3 assists. Now they're taking on a Bulls team who lost 6 of 8 at home this season, and they allow 119 points a game. The Bulls are also in the bottom 3 in defensive field goal percentage at home. Their opponents are making nearly 50% of their field goals at the United Center. Now, total-wise, when it comes to the scoring in this one, 2 out of Chicago's last 3 stayed under the posted total. 6-3 to the under in their last 9 against a fellow Eastern Conference opponent. Meanwhile, the Knicks are 5-3 to the under in their last 8 themselves, 8-4 to the under when they travel. So with all that said and done, all that in mind, I'm going to lean toward yet another underdog in this one. Give me the underdog New York Knicks +4 and the under 218. All right, next contest I have for you. It is going to be Kings versus the Pelicans, 8 p.m. East. The Pelicans are -4.5, totals 233. And if you like the Kings in an upset away from home here, they're plus $1.50 to win this one outright. Now the Kings have successfully covered the number in their last 4 straight, 3-1 straight up in their last 4 covers. Sacramento is covering 63% of their ball games when they travel, and they also rank in the top 10 in the NBA in shooting the 3 ball. De'Aaron Fox is scoring over 21 points a game, along with 3 rebounds and 6 assists. Meanwhile, Harrison Barnes is getting 17 a night himself, along with 6 boards and 3 assists as well. Now, real quick, I don't know if this really matters, but I just think it's an interesting kind of, I don't even think it's a stat, but regardless, Fox, Barnes, Hield, and Bagley, they've all started in all 19 of Sacramento's games this season. So I don't know if that's good or bad. That means that starting 4 there's lackluster, or, they're looking to turn things around. But regardless, they're taking on a Pels team who lost 7 out of their last 10, and they rank dead last in free throw percentage. Now, the Pels are also in the bottom 5 in shooting the 3 ball, and they give up 115 points a night at home. Marshall and Adams are questionable for the Pelicans. And when it comes to the number in this one, the Pels' last 7 straight all got over the line. 7-1 to the over at the Smoothie King Center. Meanwhile, the Kings saw 7 out of their last 9 get over the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Sacramento Kings +4.5 and the over 233. All right, next contest, it is going to be Grizzlies versus the Spurs, 8:30 p.m. Eastern tip. Now, the Spurs are the 3.5-point favorite, totals 221 flat. And if you like the Grizzlies to win this one outright, they're plus $1.45 for some money line cash. The Grizzlies are on a 6-game winning streak, 80% against the number in their last 10. Memphis is in the top 5 in road offensive rebounding, top 5 in road points allowed. The Grizzlies allow just 106 points a night when they travel. And they also have a road record of 5-1. Now, McDermott, Tilly, Porter, Allen, Jackson, and Valanciunas, I get it. They're all ruled out. They're not going to see those guys tonight. Having said that, though, you will see John Morant, and he's scoring 22 points a night along with a couple of boards and 8 assists. At least at, 4 in the morning right now, John Morant is slated to give it a go here tonight. But anyway, Dylan Brooks is also scoring over 15 a game for the Grizzlies, along with 4 rebounds and 3 assists himself. Now, they're taking on a Spurs team who's just 5-6 straight up at home this season, and they rank in the bottom 3 in defensive rebounding. The Spurs are also dead last in the association in defending the 3-ball at home. Now, total-wise, San Antonio's last 2 straight both got over the number, 60% to the over in their last 10 meetings with Memphis. Meanwhile, the Grizzlies saw 3 out of their last 5 get over the line themselves, throwing out the Phoenix game. I'm going to lean toward another underdog. Give me the Memphis Grizzlies plus 3.5 and the over 221. All right, next matchup, it is going to be Suns versus the Mavs, 8:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off in Dallas. The Mavericks are minus 1.5 at home, totals 219 and a hook. Now, the Mavs are on a 5-game losing streak, 2-7 against the number in their last 9. Dallas is dead last in shooting the 3-ball, bottom 5 in defensive rebounding. Now, the Mavericks have also lost 5 of 7 at the American Airlines Center. They're taking on a Phoenix squad who's on a 2-game winning streak themselves, and they hold their opponents to just 107 points a game when they travel. Now, the Suns are in the top 5 defensively in points allowed, top 10 in defending the 3-ball. Devin Booker has been upgraded to questionable. He's scoring 23 points a game along with 4 rebounds and 4 assists. And even if Booker ends up sitting out, Chris Paul's still getting 16 points a game himself, along with 5 rebounds and 9 assists. Now, total-wise, 2 out of the Suns' last 3 stayed under the number. They're also 70% to the under away from home. Meanwhile, the Mavericks are 4-3 to the under on their home court. Yep, another dog here. Give me the underdog Phoenix Suns plus 1.5 and the under 219 and a hook. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Pistons versus the Nuggets. 9 p.m. Eastern start time. Now, the Denver Nuggets are minus 9 at home. Totals 221, juice to the over. Now, I know they're in the second of a back-to-back here, but Denver's won 6 out of their last 7, and they're coming fresh off a very impressive 47-point performance from Nikola Jokic last night. They actually snapped Utah's 11-game win streak by putting up 128 points. The Joker's averaging 27 points a game along with 12 boards and 9 assists. The 6'7 center is also averaging 2 steals a night, and he also makes 84% of his free throws. Meanwhile, Jamal Murray scoring 19 points a game himself along with 4 rebounds and 4 assists. Denver leads the NBA in defensive rebounding. They also find themselves in the top 3 in scoring. They're taking on a Detroit squad who lost 6 out of their last 8, and they rank dead last in offensive rebounding on the road. The Pistons are also dead last in defensive field goal percentage on the road, and they have a record of just 1-8 straight up when they travel. Now, total-wise, Detroit 6-3 to the over in their last 9, 7-2 to the over on the road. Meanwhile, the Nuggets are 6-1 to the over in their last 7 themselves, 70% to the over at the Ball Arena. I'm going to lean toward the Denver Nuggets minus 9 in the over 221. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap, once again brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage, where we are 3-0 in our last 3 daily best plays on that website, 9-3 straight up in our last 12. I like the Hornets plus 5.5 over 218. I like the Lakers minus 5.5 under 220. I'm also leaning toward the Cleveland Cavaliers minus 5 over 217.5. Give me the Blazers plus 10 under 233 and a hook. I'm leaning toward the Rockets minus 4.5 over 224. I also like the New York Knicks plus 4 under 218. I'm leaning toward the Sacramento Kings plus 4.5 over 233. I also like the Memphis Grizzlies plus 3.5 over 221. Give me the Suns plus 1.5 under 219 and a hook. And before I give you our next and final matchup for the show here, one final reminder that you can actually access today's daily best play on Patreon for just $1.99 by clicking the link in the description section below. Hey guys, real quick, please feel free to smash the thumbs up button right now if you enjoyed today's video. You can also subscribe right now if you haven't done so already. I'm going to lean toward the Denver Nuggets minus 9 and the over 221. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into some shout outs to our top 10 YouTube commenters over the past couple of days or so. Shout out to Carter Brown, Rick Will, Michael Hill, Harjas Sandhu, Jack Tams, Daddy Fat Sacks, Trey Flame, Ziggy 007, Kevin E. Tandu, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my man, Tyler Harris. All right, guys, that's going to do it. That's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. Now, real quick here, guys, if you end up deciding to get a package here today, just keep in mind, we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So with that said, the first of every month is the absolute best time to subscribe. That is today. It's February 1st. Basically, you're going to get billed today, and then your next payment's not going to be until March 1st. So once again, Patreon bills you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So you are getting max value today on the 1st. Also want to give you another reminder. There's a couple different ways that people utilize my Patreon site. Some folks that are signed up, they take all of my picks and play them. Some take some kind of compare their picks to mine and they pick and choose which ones they like. Others, they fade all my picks. It really doesn't matter to me how you use the picks. You paid for them, so you can do whatever you want. But the most popular way to utilize the site, at least according to my Patreon members, is a lot of folks will end up getting that board member package, which gives them access to every single pick that I give every day. And they'll just parlay all the picks for that day. So I don't recommend that because that's normally like a 4 to 5 leg parlay. But regardless, that's how they end up using it. So anyway, guys, that is going to do it for me. Got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Monday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.